Hello, readers. I want to thank all of you for your comments, likes, shares, and followers. I see you all, and I'm grateful to each of you. Again, my channel is completely free, no hidden subscriptions. Everyone gets to listen to a book that I post. These books are from my personal library, and I upload them when I can. But I will also read any requested books. And with this book, we are half in England and half in Colorado. So if you prefer a good old cuppa or a glass of sweet iced tea, this book is the best of both worlds. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Live, Ranch, Love, by Emma Lucy. 1. Aurora. Whenever I watched my favorite Christmas film Love Actually growing up, I always hoped I'd end up like Keira Knightley, with a sweet Andrew Lincoln confessing his love for me on handwritten cards. Or maybe I'd be Martine McCutcheon caught snogging the sexy Prime Minister, who hopefully looks like a young Hugh Grant. But turns out, I'm bloody Colin Firth, catching my partner cheating on me. How exactly does a positivity and wellness influencer, whose entire career has been built on teaching people how to be happier, more successful, and have fulfilling relationships, spin that? Rejection is just redirection. Sometimes you need him to cheat on you so you can move on and find the right one. Apparently you run away to a different continent after a month in hiding at your mum's house. To the only place that you think might save you from your spiraling lack of self-confidence and inspiration, the two things that your career is riding on. And as the taxi nears the wooden archway where iron letters hang, spelling out Sunset Ranch, while golden memories ease any leftover tension from traveling, I really hope I'm right. I remember always loving the long drive from the airport to my great-aunt's. Watching the city slowly turn into quaint towns and rolling fields with inky mountain backdrops. Driving up the long stretch of road from Willow Ridge, seeing the big wooden house up the dirt track, positioned so perfectly in front of two tall mountain peaks where the sun always set between them, bathing everything in an orange glow, just like it is now. It's how Auntie Grace came up with the name for Sunset Ranch. That, and because her favorite saying was always sunsets, are proof that no matter what, every day can end beautifully. A reminder I've been needing. I have to push down the sob lurching in my chest when I realize I won't ever hear her tell me that again. She would have been the best person to cheer me up after everything with Jake. She always had a solution for everything, like a self-help book personified. I guess I'll just have to find a way to be strong and tell it to myself instead. That's what she would have told me to do. Still, I think this is the most relaxed my body has felt since I came back from the funeral we threw her in London, and all it took was a 10-hour flight across the world. A bit excessive, but let's hope it's a good sign. That, coming here to fix up and sell the place might give me a much-needed mental reset. If I want to keep my job, I'm going to need it. Thick strokes of amber and saffron fade into the cornflower sky above. The last few deep golden rays of sunlight sweeping over the surrounding pastures from between the mountains. The taxi comes to a halt at the archway, sunlight glinting off the sign. "All right, Miss Jones, here you go," announces the driver. It's a middle-aged man named Luke, who spent most of the journey asking me what words we say differently across the pond, like chocolate instead of candy, or jam instead of jelly. I didn't mind though. It helped to keep my mind off the fact that I didn't manage to come up with a single sentence for a new article or Instagram post during the whole flight. I can't even face checking my emails right now, knowing there's going to be one from the magazine with the editorial schedule attached, blank spaces by my name. God, I desperately need this trip to help me find my passion for writing again, because even though I can take a cute picture or video for my feed, it's the captions that my followers want. They're there for the inspiring quotes and knowledge that have helped me build my business. That's what I do all this for. I love teaching people and sharing what I've learned. Aware I have 2 large overstuffed suitcases to haul up to the house, which is about 90 meters up the road, I furrow my brow. "Oh, do you mind going up to the house, please?" Luke unbuckles himself, leaving the car to open my door. "Got to love a good old gentleman." "I'm sorry, miss, but Mr. Hensley prefers us to stay off the private property." He holds out a hand, encouraging me out. I make a little huff. It might be private property, but it's technically my private property now. Though, I don't say that, as it sounds a bit too entitled in my head, and I still haven't quite comprehended the truth of it either. Sunset Ranch is my ranch now. I can't believe she left it to me. It's more than just the big house I used to stay in every summer growing up. It's a whole bloody business, one my great-aunt was struggling to manage in the economic climate. Hence why Auntie Grace had already started renovating a lot of the old buildings into guest houses before I inherited it, to find some way of making up for the investment the ranch unexpectedly needed. And now it's all down to me to sort it. The great niece who was always too nervous to learn to ride a horse. I'm slightly concerned this trip won't be as relaxing as I thought. Still, I climb out of the car rummaging for my purse. How much do I owe you? No need. Mr. Hensley settled up in advance the other day. Luke rounds the car to the boot, where he heaves out my 2 purple suitcases. He wipes his forehead afterwards. Did you bring the whole royal family in these with you? And put my purse away, surprised Mr. Hensley, the head rancher who worked for my great-aunt, didn't mention that, though he hasn't even replied to my earlier text letting him know I was in the taxi. Something tells me he's not a very tech-savvy old man. No, but I'm here for a few weeks, so I wanted to make sure I had enough. Luke smiles and nods. Well, if you ever need a cab into Willow Ridge, you got my number. Enjoy your stay, Miss Jones.
Thank you, Luke.
Have a great rest of your day. I drag my suitcases out of the way and watch Luke drive off. Then, I turn to the dirt track ahead, inhaling deeply, readying myself to sweat profusely during the 2-minute trek to the house. 30 seconds in, and I'm already out of breath. I might have been slacking on my usual fitness routine the last few weeks. Despite posting old yoga videos I luckily had saved to pretend otherwise to my social media followers, but I am by no means unfit. The jet lag probably doesn't help. Or it's because I've just never learned to pack lightly and now I'm suffering for it. I stop for a quick breather and admire the house ahead. It's all dark wood and long windows, thick wooden posts and stone chimneys, with a wraparound deck where my favourite porch swing sits hidden round the back. There was always something fashionably contrasting about Auntie Grace's style, the perfect blend of rustic and modern. Even inside, the kitchen and living area is all open plan, with a few little rooms for an office and cosy bar tucked away behind doors. Yet, she just crowded that airy atmosphere with mismatched Persian rugs, colourful embroidered cushions, and an obscene number of plants. God, I've missed this place. I wish I'd made more of an effort recently to visit. Then at least I might have known she'd been sick. I don't know how I'm going to sell this place, seeing it again now. There's so many heartwarming memories here and ... No, I have to sell it. I can't run a ranch from a different continent, even if it would mean keeping a part of Auntie Grace going ... I will away the thought, letting my eyes trail along the porch, over the front door, which is opening, and there's a man walking out of Auntie Grace's house ... My house. And it's not old Mr. Hensley. What the hell? That suddenly kicks me into action and I'm racing up the dirt path, ignoring the way my muscles are screaming at how quickly I'm trying to lug my suitcases over. Given that I don't really know anyone here, and we're on a ranch in the middle of nowhere, I probably shouldn't be thundering over to a strange man who may or may not have been trespassing in my house, but here. 1 a.m. The man notices me and leans against one of the posts beside the porch stairs, arms folded. He's just watching me. When I get closer, breath ragged and body slick with sweat, he descends the steps. Dark jeans hug his thick thighs, and an open red flannel shirt encases a white top underneath, set against his light brown skin. A cowboy hat shadows his face, and just about hides most of his dark hair, though a few curls peek out beneath. Excuse me. One barely get out as I try to catch my breath, bringing me and my suitcases to a halt. One of them immediately falls over and I drop my bag trying to pick it back up. Shit, this is not the best start. Just breathe, Rory. After composing myself and my suitcase, I turn back to the towering man, who's still regarding me with folded arms and the darkest eyes I've ever seen. God, now that I get a proper look at him, I'm stunned speechless at how attractive he is. A wide-angled jaw covered in dark stubble, high cheekbones, and a nose that tips up slightly. His shirt is barely containing his bulging biceps, the kind that could easily throw a girl about. Quiet teenage me would have wanted to run away, and the impulse to do so is definitely stronger, since my self-confidence was hit by the tall blonde woman whose legs I found wrapped around my ex-boyfriend. The man can't be any older than 30, which would make him one of the ranch hands that work under Mr. Hensley, which definitely gives him no right to be in the house. I almost feel like I recognize him. He angles his head, giving me the once-over, then says in a deep, raspy voice with an evident country drawl, "Are you lost?" I'm taken aback by the scowl he's shooting my way, immediately breaking whatever enrapturement his beautifully carved face held over me. I scoff, hands flying to my hips. "I should ask you the same thing. What are you doing in my house?" He lets out a breathy laugh and twists his face. One thick brow quirks as he scans my body again. I'd say you're a few thousand miles from home, darling." I narrow my eyes. I think I'm going to struggle being my usual positive self today. I understand that I don't exactly fit in here with my little lavender gym outfit topped with a white cardigan slung round my shoulders, and ginger waves pulled back into a high ponytail, as opposed to being clad in plaid and denim. But neither did my great-aunt, and I doubt he had the audacity to question her. "Yes, it belonged to my Auntie Grace. Is Mr. Hensley about?" Wait. His mouth pops open and his arms drop. "Your Grace's niece. I was expecting someone ... older." He wipes a hand over his face, mumbling, "Fuck my life. What a nice warm welcome. I always remembered the Americans here being friendlier than us Brits, but clearly there was an exception. Well, technically I'm her great niece. Look, I'm not sure why you were inside my house, but could you please tell me where I can find Mr. Hensley?" "You're looking right at him," he deadpans, eyes boring into me, darker than the emerging night sky. Does he think I'm stupid? I've met Mr. Hensley before. I know my body is still on British summertime, and normally I'd be fast asleep by now, so my brain is working slower than usual, but I'm adamant that he's not the old man I last saw 7 years ago. No. Mr. Hensley is like 70 years old. Tall, lanky old man with a massive moustache. He's 80 actually, and hasn't worked here for 4 years. Crossing his arms again, the man smirks, a dimple appearing in the cheek where his mouth hooks up. I'm his grandson. My whole face drops along with my bottom lip. So I've been texting him this whole time. Holding out a hand somewhat reluctantly, he adds, "The name's Wyatt, but you're more than welcome to keep calling me Mr. Hensley if you like, princess." He finishes with a wink. Now I'm the one mumbling "fuck my life." He's got the whole cocky, brooding cowboy persona down to a T, and it's grinding my gears. I'm not normally this touchy. I'm usually sunny, positive Rory. It's what I pride myself on. It's who I get paid to be. But I think the tiredness from traveling must be getting to me. I know better than to judge someone straight away, and maybe I'm being too hasty with my assessment of him. Besides, it's not like my judgments of people have been on point recently. I never pegged Jake for a cheater, nor me as someone who would let a man's actions determine my self-confidence, yet here 1 a.m. So I reach my hand out and it's completely dwarfed by his as we shake. His calloused skin rasps against my palm, leaving a tingling sensation in its wake. Aurora Jones, but most people call me Rory. He frowns, looking at his hand before shoving it in his pocket. Isn't that a boy's name? The memory of teenage boys saying exactly that to my quiet self at school flashes into my mind. I take a deep breath and will the thought away, remembering that I've worked hard to grow into the secure, confident woman I am today. Or was. And that those same teenage boys are now the grown men in my team is failing to get my attention. It's gender neutral. One pressed my lips together, unable to muster a smile. Hasn't he ever seen Gilmore Girls? If you say so, Wyatt shrugs. His sharp features drop into a scowl again. Anyway, to answer your earlier question, I was in your house to make sure you had all the necessities to tide you over for a few days. I guessed you'd be tired and wouldn't want to be heading into town tonight. Oh. I stare back at him but struggle with the heaviness his dark eyes seem to weigh on me. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Just doing my job? He slips his other hand into his pocket. Asterisk right. Well, I'd like to get settled in tonight, and honestly just get into bed because it's way past my bedtime. I laugh, trying to break whatever unpleasant tension hovers between us, but Wyatt's face stays strained. But it would be fab to meet tomorrow and run through everything going on with the ranch, so we can get this place sorted and sold, and I can get back home. hopefully with my inspiration and confidence back. Great. Can't wait? Wyatt's eyelids flutter in what seems an attempt to hide his eye roll, though it's rather futile. He forces a half-hearted smile and hands me a key. To leave you to it. He spins on his heel and marches off down the dirt road, leaving me and my exhausted body to deal with my massive suitcases alone. How I wish Luke was here still. One press my eyes shut, inhaling deeply for 5 seconds before blowing out the biggest sigh. Hey, Aurora! Wyatt calls out. My skin prickles at the way he uses my full name. I turn to see him heading back up, rubbing the back of his neck as he huffs. Yeah. Wyatt closes the distance between us with his last few steps, my eyes directly in line with the broad expanse of his chest. I try to let the flutter in my stomach go unnoticed. Flicking my gaze up to where his dark stare peers down at me, I can't ignore how tight his jaw looks. What do you do for a living again? I go to reply, but almost start when he reaches around me to grab each suitcase. There's no mistaking the ease with which Wyatt lifts them and carries them up the porch, his shirt barely containing his flexing muscles. I suppose a couple of suitcases don't compare to the other kinds of hard labor he does on the ranch. Once he's back in front of me, Wyatt crosses his arms, thrumming his fingers against his muscles. Oh, Reet, I'm a wellness and positivity influencer, I say with a proud smile. Perfect, he snorts. Shaking his head, he then twists to leave again. My smile immediately drops. In the distance, I hear him grunt, fuck my life. I'm predicting that working with this man is going to require lots of deep breathing sessions and stress-relieving meditations.